How has France become a major player in global basketball? Well, today I'm going to give you the answer to that question and introduce you to the France's National Athletic Development Program funded by the French government. That and more on the No Backboard Basketball Show.
That we get back to talking about this community, because I think that's one way, and that I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, it may be the tagline you use there. If change the game, change the community.
I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker. I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker.
Great question. So the No Backboard Basketball League, the vision of it is a new recreational basketball platform to provide opportunities for Black and brown individuals to actually own wealth creating assets in the sports space. Welcome to the No Backboard Basketball Show. I am your host, Mark T. Armstrong, inventor of Basketball to Remix, the modern interpretation of the original game of basketball, and founder of the No Backboard Basketball League. The No Backboard Basketball League is envisioned as an alternative basketball development platform, alternative basketball recreational platform, and alternative basketball entertainment platform purposed to make a positive impact on American basketball. Want to learn more about my why behind the No Backboard Basketball League and why I put so much energy and effort behind this? Check out my book, No Backboard Basketball. Remixing basketball as a catalyst for change. You can find that on Amazon. And consider joining our community. Go to nobackboard.com, check out what we're doing, and jump on our email list so you can position yourself to be a part of an exciting project we have coming soon to incentivize a community around the No Backboard Basketball League's efforts. And consider supporting the effort. Go to nobackboard.store, check out our merch, pick up a shirt, pick up a cap, or download some No Backboard Basketball music. Be one of the first in your area to be rocking our gear, blasting our tunes, or you can support the effort by simply buying me a cup of coffee or an adult beverage. And links are in the description to be able to do that. Today, we're exploring a system that's turning France into an NBA talent factory. According to my research, there are 14 Frenchmen playing in the NBA. There are 50 Frenchmen playing NCAA Division I basketball. 2 Frenchmen set to go in the first round of the NBA draft. And with Victor Wembanyama set to be the face of the NBA for the next decade and a half, it's important to understand how France has elevated its basketball culture to become a global player. Now, French basketball and French basketball culture has established itself as a major player on the global scene. And in doing my research, I didn't realize that France has a very long history in basketball. But what I was focused on is what can we attribute the recent evolution of French basketball into a global player? And the answer is the Institut National de Sport de l'Expertise et de la Performance. I tried. The translation into English, the National Institute for Sports, Expertise, and Performance, or INSEP, I-N-S-E-P. We will be using INSEP moving forward. INSEP is a crucial institution in France for developing elite athletes across various sports, including basketball. It's a government-funded national institution that offers funding, sets national sports policies. It establishes the integration of pursuit of sports with education to develop well-rounded people, collaborates with sports federations across Europe and around the world, and provides state-of-the-art facilities and expertise in the development of their athletes. INSEP has been instrumental in the success of French athletes, including basketball players who have gone on to have notable careers in the NBA and international basketball. Now, this government-supported program underscores France's dedication to fostering sports talent at the highest level. So today, I'm going to focus on INSEP in basketball, specifically what they call the grid system that ensures that they identify basketball talent early to start the development process so no talented young person slips through the cracks.
Tired of the three-point obsession, the commercialization of youth basketball, and a game where skill development takes a backseat? Introducing No Backboard Basketball, remixing basketball as a catalyst for change. This isn't just a book, it's a movement. Rediscover basketball's roots, where the focus is on community, creativity, and real opportunities for Black and brown youth. No more barriers for families without deep pockets. Get your copy on Amazon now and join the revolution that's changing the game and changing lives.
Now, the grid system isn't just about training. It's about a national strategy for talent identification and development, right? So this grid system's purpose is to make sure they identify the talent as young as possible and put them in an environment where that talent can be maximized. Gaylis Thomas, INSEP's basketball director, has crafted this system to catch young talents before they even realize that they have the potential. And I think that's beautiful. As a coach, I think it's awesome when you see something in a young person that they don't see yet, and then you work with them. You work with them to develop that talent and develop that young person to identify with the talent. And then that young person takes it, buys into it, and now has the personal motivation and drive to take their talent to the next level. Now, the grid system works like a fine-tuned machine for spotting and nurturing basketball prodigies, and this is how it operates. First, it's all about early detection. INSEP scouts the entire France and its overseas territories, organizing training camps that are normally set for 36 elite boys and girls. From these training camps, when they identify kids, typically about 20, they are chosen for deeper development. This selection process, known as the grid detection, is meticulous in ensuring that no talent slips through the crack. Talent nurturing. So once they identify these young athletes, they are brought into INSEP. And the focus isn't just on basketball, but creating well-rounded individuals. They receive top-tier coaching, academic support, and they live in the environment designed for sports excellence. So pretty much, they're going across France, identifying young talent, then pooling this young talent into a boarding situation where they live, where they train and go to school, to put them in this environment to develop them. I love it. Competitive exposure. So what sets this system apart is the early exposure to professional competition, right? These kids play against grown men learning the game at an accelerated pace, which is considered the ideal path for the NBA, right? That's one of the, when you think about Luka Doncic, that was one of the things that was highlighted about him when he came into the league, I believe at 19. By the time he came into the league as a 19-year-old, he already had, I believe, 4, maybe 6 years of playing against men in Europe and performing at an extremely elite level in Europe as well. And from my own personal experience, as I've mentioned in previous programs, unlike today where parents are spending thousands of dollars a year on training and to be in certain basketball environments, 85% of my basketball development was done for free. Most of it taking place at a park where I just, from the 6th, 7th grade, I was playing against men all the way through high school. And that had a significant impact because I could go at my park and play against men. When I would get on the court with my peers, there was no answer. It's beautiful. The fourth component of this grid system is the collaboration with the clubs, right? The influence of INSEP has trickled down to the club academies. So now you have players like Victor Wembanyama who thrived moving between the INSEP and the club teams, benefiting from diverse coaching and competition styles. This collaboration expands the grid, making the talent development a national effort. My question is, isn't this what USA basketball is supposed to be doing? Isn't USA basketball's mandate the development of youth basketball and the development of coaching? Yet, U.S. basketball athletes are losing roster share in the NBA and losing roster share across NCAA Division I basketball. From my understanding, there are enough international basketball players playing in the NCAA today that you could have a minimum of 2 international athletes on each NCAA Division I team. Think about that. And the resulting impact of INSEP speaks for itself, right? The proof of the effectiveness of the system is in the players. The NBA draft has become a showcase for French talent. Victor Wembanyama, and then last year there was a French athlete drafted very high. We have 2 Frenchmen currently projected to go in the first round of the 2025 draft. And then we know about Tony Parker, we know about Rudy Gobert, etc. But this is interesting. This isn't just about individual success, right? The grid system has been about transforming French basketball into a global force. Again, we got Tony Parker, the Rudy Gobert. Now we have Victor Wembanyama. This grid system has produced athletes who are not just excel in the NBA, but they're also inspiring the next generation of French basketball. It reflects the unique demographic of France, which has a significant African influence, unlike many other European countries. Many of the French stars have African roots, adding to the diversity and the richness of the French basketball culture. Now, while the grid system is the backbone, the street basketball culture in France is very strong. If you're familiar with the Quad 54, it mirrors this success. And I wrote about this last summer when France had this great showing at the Olympics, that we can trace a vibrant, robust street ball playground culture in France that aligns parallel with the development of their professional competitive athletes. And what's happening in France right now with the growth of basketball at the professional level, the institutional level, they also have a vibrant, growing street ball culture. It reminds me of basketball, let's say late 80s through the 2000s, right? When you had the transition from Bird, Magic, Jordan, you also had the emergence of And One at that time. And simultaneously, both those forces pushed basketball onto the culture, and you've seen this renaissance of basketball taking place in the United States, both in arenas as well as on the streets and in the parks. What has happened here in the United States, though, we have the commercialization of basketball. Unlike the grid system, where they can recruit from anywhere, in the United States, with the commercialization of basketball, we've seen talent and recruiting opportunities get funneled into very narrow silos that forced the talent to be there and drove the coaches to be there. And then when you had that happen, in my opinion, one of the factors that you saw the decline of basketball in certain communities, and you've seen the decline of outdoor basketball. But the other part of that is the fact that it's become, unfortunately, dangerous in many neighborhoods just to be out there and playing basketball. The realization that any young, and this is the cool part, right? The fact that they have this grid system lets any young person, any young athlete know that they could be discovered through this system because it's broad and diverse. And the scouting keeps this type of awareness that I can be on a playground. I can play in a rec league as a kid, and someone in the system can identify me and start getting me in the process, evaluate me for a future opportunity. I think that awareness helps stimulate that robust playground environment, particularly for the younger athletes in their country. So this INSEP grid system is more than a development program. It's really a blueprint for how to systematically and effectively cultivate basketball talent for the world stage. The INSEP grid system aligns with the vision of the No Backboard Basketball League and our vision for a national network of no backboard basketball training facilities, right? Providing a national outreach and platform, both to discover talent across the United States, but then pull that talent into our network of facilities, our approach to development, and develop that platform. So we're looking at developing a platform that launches basketball athletes out of our no backboard basketball environment that now launches basketball athletes into highly successful college careers or highly successful professional careers anywhere in the globe. And if this sounds exciting to you, well, again, I encourage you to tap into the No Backboard Basketball League community, nobackboard.com. Join the email list and start receiving information and position yourself to be able to help us grow and benefit from the growth that we experience. Man, your boy Tripp. Wow, what did he show us about? Because you spoke to that in our first interview before we even had a guy who loves the post show up. So what did Tripp show us about what no backboard can do for the post player?
Well, basically he showed that good footwork plus a lack of fear to be physical is an advantage when there's no backboard. Because the bump to the retaliation bump with proper footwork movement relocates the player for you to use different angles to create different finishes, because the backboard is not limiting the finishes with the 90-degree vertical board or whatever anyway. So you got flips on the reverse side, flips on the back side. You can spin back towards the baseline on both sides. It just opens up the versatility for the post to be able to do more things.
And I think that's the other thing for the bigs. When you develop your touch with your finger rolls and your flips and your roll off the fingers and you're nailing it on this, you're going to have a field day on the traditional.
Yeah, absolutely. To get that mismatch in there, to use size in the area where no backboard becomes not a burden, but a benefit.
I like that. And hey, you think this has potential for a recreational league?
I do, man. I can't wait to see it, man. You're talking 5 guys with the point structure you just laid out, lobs going from here to be 3 there. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be very, very interesting to see this in the full court, especially with the out of the net and go bull. Oh man, yeah. I can't wait to see it. Somebody knock down a long 3 ball and they take it right out the net and we get a layup down there on that side. I think it will really, really help players focus on one, identifying leak outs.
Yeah.
And being able to play better, effective defense, not just in the half court, but